I often feel as if my mind works in some sort of weird slow lane. Like, I think at half or four times slower the speed of other people. And I think this thought process extends to the way I live as well. I think I experience time much slower than other people, and that for every day a person lives, I live 4 days or something like that. I sometimes feel as if I've lived for thousands of years, but I'm only conscious of sort of this life. But that my life has been existing for millions and millions of years. And that's part of the reason why the way I think is so slow. I also sometimes think maybe I have a terminal disease. Something has happened to my mind and to my body. Um, my limbs seem to move without my consent, and having weird trouble sleeping. I stopped breathing, and I looked into it, and I think it said it was likely central apnea, which is, I'm not sure. I'm very stressed at the moment. Only bad things seem to be happening to me and the people around me. It's been probably more than a decade since I've generally had a very happy day. Probably more like 2 decades. But the last few months have really amplified my suffering, I guess. It's really, things have gotten much worse, especially to those around me. I'm not sure why. I'm hoping that someday there will be good news. But I don't know how that good news will happen. I can't imagine what will cause that good news, or what would change after so many years of feeling so unhappy and generally being on the bottom of everything. I can't imagine even the smallest amount of success or happiness or any kind of positive experiences any longer happening. I generally feel that the next 20 to 30 years, depending on how long I live of my life, will be nothing but sadness and suffering and quietly accepting that I'm somehow cursed. And I feel like I've been living in this curse for millions of years, and that there's no way to escape it. Even after I pass in 20 or 30 years, that I'll be born as someone else that's cursed. And that I don't feel in any way like a human or I can relate to other humans. Um, and that's a very lonely feeling. Um, in a way that's quite deep and, I guess what you could call eternal and timeless. It's a timeless loneliness, not something that's temporarily easy to fix.